All right, folks, we're back here for episode 3 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Nigeria alongside of Lucas. This episode is titled Stick and Move. Now, before we go any further today, I just want to say that we're late to this review. That's because I felt bullied by all of the comments that y'all left about me not knowing Whitney's song last week. And that's fine, because this week I knew all the songs. And just so we have it, since people coming from my age, I grew up on, and you can determine my age by this, but I grew up on Jodeci, Mint Condition. TLC was the first tape I believe my mom that I remember ever owning. So just a little bit outside of that bracket where Whitney, I mean, it was played in the house, but I wasn't retaining songs and stuff like that. Like, it didn't mean nothing to me. But you know, whatever. I'm just keeping 100. It didn't quickly resonate with me. But yes, y'all came for me. Then afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, okay, yep, y'all got me. So yeah, thanks to you all. We decided to do this review late. I needed time to recruit. It was difficult. And I thought about quitting. But that's all BS. We're here.
Nonetheless, I'd have thought the baby said something about you. How late this review is. I didn't know what was going on.
Hey, real talk though. I love how everybody's like, it's Whitney. Like, you can't just read a few comments up to say somebody else said it's Whitney, or that you had time to Google and quickly find out what it was.
Or that most normal people know that song.
Fine, I give them that, but I mean, like the ones who are definitely running around with their crosses, like it's Whitney, like cool. But anyway,
I know you didn't know every song in this episode. I know you didn't.
Oh, I knew the deal. I definitely know 2 occasions. Yes.
Nah, so you ain't know that Joe, my man, was singing in the studio though.
No,
all off key. He was doing his 80s Keisha Cole thing, Joe. That Joe was so off key.
I got a question about that, and I just wanted to throw this here. This is your first time ever checking us out. Nigeria and Lucas, we cover power. We cover a bunch of different things. So I just want to let you know our format here, just so you understand that why something like I did last week happens, because we watched the show and then we quickly do the review. There's no prep, there's no cuts. This is just straight raw, our straight reactions and thoughts about it. That way we can engage with you all in real time. You can give your feedback and comments about tonight's episode as well. So that's how we do it. That's how we continue to have fun with this. We don't try to be perfectionists. We just try to have fun with this. Now, there's a lot of other people out there that wants to solve every crime that's ever involved in life in these shows and want to be right in predictions and all this other stuff. That's not what we do here. We try to keep it organic, natural. That way you can resonate with us. Shout out to Homegirl, who also said she didn't know Whitney's song too. I love you for that. I really do. do.
She was equal. She was like 12, I bet. Like, how don't you know that song? Like, I am
dog.
super confused on how you don't know that song. But you know what? We're not that far apart in age. I mean, clearly the first thing TLC was not the first.
Yeah.
I had like, no, that'd have been maybe Any Heartbreak wasn't even the first tape. It would have been like Thriller or something in the mid 80s. But dang, right. I remember when TLC came out, I didn't even like TLC.
There's a hot take. Yeah, you're about my older cousin's age, who's like, we grew up together, so he's almost like my older brother. So like, how we even interact today is totally different. So like, you're like the mesh between both of us, because his historical music knowledge would have definitely been on me just like this. So it is what it is. It's just the dynamics in the house. We can even talk about video games. I grew up in Atari. I think my first one was the first Genesis 8-bit, I think it was, So, and then my first prominent system I think I owned was Sega Genesis. So, it's easy to be like, yeah, that's the first major system I remember owning was.
I had an Atari, but I had a Nintendo when it first came out.
Yeah, I didn't know what Atari was until they was like, yeah, we have one of those. It's over there. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a game system. You know how back in the day the music systems were
man.
Music systems used to have like 5 or 6 things stacked on top of each other.
Yep.
You don't know what did what back in the day.
It was either the music system or the floor model TV that had the TV on top of the TV.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, y'all, so y'all can determine our ages by that. But let's go back to the studio real quick. There is a lot of things I want to ask you in regards to things here, and I'm glad you brought up Crown Camacho, who was the studio guy in there. Who is he imitating? Who's the first person that come to mind when you looked at that character? They gave him a sense of presence, so it's like they want us to connect with this character. But for me, I was completely blank. I was like, this. There must be somebody they're trying to imitate here with him.
Now, I didn't think of it's weird. I'm not going to say a producer popped into my head, but because I swear that's Quincy, if I'm not mistaken, because it looks okay. It ain't Quincy, it looks like Quincy. So I thought he was imitating his father, which would have been I'll Be Sure by the look and the he want to be Puerto Rican, but he really black thing. Like, yeah. Like I think every woman growing up thought I'll Be Sure was something, and then it's like, no, I think he's just black. That's it. It ain't even that deep. But I thought maybe that's what it was. But just in a respectful way of saying he's not a street dude, but he's in the music and he's really good at music. I think you had to separate the two because, you know, back in the day, especially
I know you better not steal my comment. You better not steal my comment.
Back in this time period, you know, most of the dudes who were in the music, R&B, those were gangsters. Like I mean, Keith Sweat I was out that chunk like taking dude's hands off. So I think they were trying to like separate the two, just let you know, like he's just someone who's into music and he just happens to be around the business, which is a good thing to let you know, just in case down the line something pops off. You're not going to expect him to be a street guy and know what to do.
Okay, I like that. See, where I was going to go with that was that, and it's something that we see a lot more today, is that musicians wanted to be drug dealers and vice versa. And I think that's why we got that scene with Lou and Jess where Lou kind of was just kind of filling the room as he should. You know, he was you know, doing what he does, stating his dominance. But I think that with the money alone isn't really always the goal for in this era where everybody wanted the fame as well too. So like that dude, even though Lou is a street dude with a ton of street credit, he looked over at Crown Camacho like he's respected. Like everybody likes what he does. He has talent. And Jess was just like, yo, you could do that too. And I think we saw a lot of that back in the 90s where, and obviously there was a firm mix of people who did both. But there was others who was like, well, I'm good at music. I want to be a street dude. I'm good at music. I'm good at street. I want to do music. And those are the artists that came and went really quickly, you know what I mean? And I think even still now, that if you're not even familiar with that era of music, it's still a ton of that right now.
Look at it now. For hip hop, especially in the 90s, it was kind of run by street dudes. Like it run by street dudes who decided, hey, I can take my knowledge of doing what I do elsewhere and put it into the music industry, and most of them are really well off now because of that way of thinking here. But I did like the point that this also brought up like a perfect 90s hood movie trope, which was the you are bigger than drug dealing. Like you have so much more talent than this.
You knew this was coming. I mean, there was so much love in this episode. You knew this was coming.
Hey, they gave us 3 90s tropes in one episode from the you're more than this, don't let the drug dealer hold you back, baby, to I'm falling in love and I don't know what to do. This nigga got me sprung, to the oh man, he got the white girl. What is the white girl going to do to everybody in the organization? Like it's so many tropes in one, but it fits because of this time period.
Yeah.
Like you're expecting these things to come up. The moment he started talking about recording equipment, you knew then, like, oh shit, this nigga's supposed to know music.
And bro, funny thing about that too is even how that scene was shot, where Lou and Jess was looking at each other, and he tried to turn his head away, and she tried to give him a kiss, and he had one of those like the now looks like, and then she's like, "But you can do this." He's like, "Damn, I can do this, can't I?" And then gave it a.
Oh man,
hey yo, I was like, this Lou character is about to get super interested now, because like I you know, it's easy to say that we can kind of predict what the character looks like in regards to, you know, whatever happens in the storyline, you know, has to be determined. But what this character is, the profile of this character. But that one scene now throws a lot of things out of the window for me now, because it's just like he seemed to be the one firm in his feet about the business, love and loving girls and all that. It's fine, but that's not going to jeopardize anything, because that's what Marvin is obviously going through. they at this point now they one and the same, and you might as well throw
maybe we get confused on what Marvin is.
But see, and I am guilty of this one. I saw a lot of comments in a particular group saying, and this wasn't for this week's, but for last week, people were saying like Marv is going to get his. He's going to be the one to jeopardize the business, and we've been saying like, I'm not feeling that. I don't think so. I think it's to be determined his role, and I think that even with them not all knowing the plan from last week's episode, they all work together in a way that this kind of show how they trust each other in a very loose way. I mean, I'll go as far as saying, I mean, not on a business operation, but this is how how like most Black families are. It's like, yeah, I like that's my family, and I'm riding for them. But like, you know, it's really long, and we kind of do our own thing. But like, I know that person there if I need something in a sense. And that was kind of when he was just like, yeah, he had his own. He played a part in the plan and didn't even realize it, just because they all knew how they all moved. And I think that's something to be said. You know, I said that last week, and I think again, there's something to be said with that.
It says a lot more when you know the way people move, and then I can just put the pieces in order and have whatever I need to have happen.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the issue with Marvin. Marvin he's clearly the guy who would slip up, but I think he's the guy who's most down for the business.
Yeah,
and that's the difference between the two, because I can see Lou getting a way out, seeing a way out of this business.
Yeah, and
Marvin does not see a way out of this business. Marvin thinks like a guy who like, nah, we just need to get more corners. Nope, we build these corners up. We can't get these corners up. Like, he's thinking like a street dude. Yeah. Lou, I think, operates like one, but I don't think that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, it's been kind of ice cold.
Is it me, or did he get emotional when he killed D-Wiz?
Yes, I said that. We said that. We said there was something to be said when they showed that scene. And we looked at it, the word I'm using is ice cold, because it's just like he's almost a blank. He does a job, and that's what it is. He has this sort of level of like, I can't be touched mentality. And then he killed homeboy, and he showed the motion. We were like, what? And a lot of people are not talking about that.
I'm about to say, I won't compare him to the person in the Power universe I think he's acting like, because y'all go nuts when comparisons start happening.
Oh, I seen some crazy ones.
Like the Jukebox being someone's mother thing. I don't know what the hell wrong with y'all people here.
Hey, but you're right though. But go ahead.
But the way he came across that way, I think it was to highlight to us in a way that maybe this isn't what he's meant to do.
Yeah.
Like he's playing his role and he's playing the part that he's supposed to do, but this is not what he wants. Yeah. And I think we mistakenly see the way Marvin acts about things and thinking it's a bad thing, and not understanding the reason he's acting this way is because this is what he thinks. This is it to him.
Oh. Yeah, and
we've made it here. We don't need to do nothing else.
Yeah, and let's not forget, when he was asked if he loved homegirl or liked her, whatever word they use, he said, "Yeah, I like this club too." I don't think that was just loose dialogue. I think there's something to be made here, and then protecting her with the dog. I think that's also something to be made here. To say like, I want you to be safe in this. Know that I got you. But eventually I'm gonna need you for something. And I think with them, remember they asked about, well, we can do stuff at the bodega. Oh, it's not ready yet. Cool. Just keep working on that. I'm gonna work on this, and then when it's ready, you'll know. I like people who move like that. Don't need to give updates every 10 seconds. Just do what you got to do, and then when it's ready, then we'll talk about it.
Don't give us a ghost update, because Ghost give us updates on everything.
Exactly.
He would whisper them updates, but he would give them to us.
Exactly. Hey, bro, let me ask you a question real quick. Now, this threw me for a loop, and I swear I might have to go to the family house at some point and dig deep. When they went to the mall and they went to the music video room where they recorded the video with the blue, I forgot all about those joints. Please tell me you've made one of those back in the day.
Never made one of those.
You have never. Come on, bro. You have never ever said that you wanted to create your music video.
I was too cool for that. Nope. No. You will never have a video of Lou doing anything of that nature. Granted, I know plenty of people that did.
Oh my God, I forgot all about them joints.
If you get a little money and they play a little song and you do the video, like that used to be the shit back in the day.
Yo, they gave him the blue cloud backdrop. I was like, yo,
that's when you know it's about to be fire too.
You know it.
And then the white girl started hitting the vocals. I know she can sing.
Yeah,
come on now.
Now, I don't think they ever discussed why Jukebox was called Jukebox. It just was a street name that we kind of thought that's what it was, but apparently now it's
a family name.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess
she likes music.
Yeah, and she can sing anything. That's where I'm getting at with that. Yeah. So, before it just sounded like that's like a thugged out name. She got a lot of street cred. They just call it that for whatever reason. But, as much as this is about Kanan, I mean, we're getting a lot of backstory to who Jukebox is, and while she's not getting, the narration, it is a lot to be said too that we are really understanding why her and Kanan became who they were, ultimately getting to their demise. And to be honest, I'm liking the character so much at this young age. When something flips, I don't even know what to expect. Also, I don't think, and maybe I could be wrong, and I know you all were ready to come for me on this one because I don't remember every single tidbit. But did Kanan say that Jukebox was the one that taught him the game?
Oh, I can't remember.
Because essentially she did. And as he said, once you sell, she said, this is how it works. This is how you read. I mean, this is clearly Effie here to Tariq. But like they said, like, this is how you read the room. And, those are these people, this, and that. And much like Kanan said in the narration, once you make your first sale, once you get your first dollar, you're in the game. She taught him the game in plain out form. But I don't know if he ever said that she was the one that did that. All I remember him saying is that she is the baddest motherfucker I've ever met. That's all I remember him saying. Mm-hmm. And I get it, retconning something and whatnot. But like, it is interesting. I think it's also worthy to note as well too that she's the one that, not just she's the one, but women in power have been the one that has been the top plateau of every single thing. Yep. It's all came down to who taught who and who ran everything. And we're just seeing strong women or just women having strong positions in all of this. And, while there was historically pieces in these places, mostly featured in these times were men that ran the organization. And they were the big drug lords and all of this. So it is cool to see that women are doing this in a way respected and knowledgeable in a way that really isn't showcased. And I know, come for me for Queen in the South. I get it, but that's also not black and also not in this area during this time. People come. I came ready this today. Nobody coming for me.
All because of Whitney. See,
all because of Whitney. Bless her soul.
Could someone explain to me why Jukebox wasn't wearing her mask while they was robbing the truck? Oh man, I'm like, wait a minute, everybody else pulling up their masks,
and she pulled it down. And look,
did you? I know us as black folks. I know we coming out of a whole where we're in a whole pandemic, and I know black people still out there. When you talk to them, they feel the need to pull their mask down and be like, "Huh? What'd you say?"
Yeah,
like, was the mask covering up your ears?
Yeah, we're trash for that. Now I ain't even gonna lie. That is, I don't know. I probably do it so naturally, don't even realize it. But yeah, we're absolutely trash for that.
That's why I couldn't be too mad. But I'm like, damn it, Jukebox, you are robbing people. And then it gets worse when you pulling up to the dude after this dude been pummeled, and you show your face to him.
Yeah. Can I, and by the way, by the preview for next week, it looks like she goes back again. But can I tell you something that I really learned this episode? I have finally figured out, and I finally seen a visual depiction of when people say, I got it off the back of the truck. I always wondered, what did they mean by that? And also, the lesson I learned here, beyond that, is that now I see how Canal Street gets supplied now. I see it. I see exactly how this all works now.
No. Let's we can talk about Canal Street because Jukebox supposedly is robbing from real merchandise. Ain't most of that shit on Canal Street ain't real merchandise. That joint is made in somebody's basement and then it's sold on Canal Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think this is a very interesting thing to show with Jukebox, just because we know, in all honesty, we have to know she can never get arrested. And I know people are like, what you mean? She's a cop. As she gets older, you know what you can't have and be a cop? An arrest record. So
brilliant point.
What makes the transition happen? That's what makes her character so interesting.
Yeah.
It's because it's clear that a transition is going to happen. And it's clear that this is someone who knows the street game, but she said it best. I'm never dealing drugs because Marvin does.
Yeah.
Like that's a very telling statement for someone to say they don't want to be in the family business because of their father.
Yeah. That's interesting. Good point. Good point. See, man, that's why we're a good team here. Let's talk about something. Oh, by the way, too, I gotta bring up the fact that Marvin named the dog LT. So since everybody wants to, come at me for things, who is he talking about in LT? Since everybody know everything on here, who's LT, folks? All right, yeah, jump in the comments and let me know that one. Yeah, look that up. I see. There's a recurring theme of legendary football players each week now too. So. What
was more confusing to me is that that's a grown-ass dog, and that grown-ass dog had a name beforehand. You can call him LT as much as you want to. Guess what he ain't answering to?
Yeah,
he's not answering to LT.
Real talk. I always say that. Why do people do that with dogs as if like they're just gonna be like, yeah, I'm cool with this, and that is a grown dog. I'm like, I don't think this is gonna go well.
That is the equivalent of me deciding out the blue to start calling you Larry and expecting you to answer whenever I do it. That dog will be like, that's not my name. Like, why are you calling me LT? This is not my name.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very little thing that I found hilarious. The moment he said I named him LT, I'm like, that's not a puppy. You can't change his name at this point.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back to Omar Epps' character, Malcolm Howard.
I've been waiting for this one. Look here.
Right, so
look, before we get into the seriousness of it, because I think this character, some's revealed that we really need to talk about, and just the serious nature of him being a cop. Could you explain to me how was he chasing that dope boy down and he was jogging? I'm like, wait a minute.
No. He was not chasing him down. I was just about to say before we find out what happened for the rest of the episode is that he was clearly gassed way early. I mean,
way too
gassed.
The moment they showed them running, and you see this dude booking, and you see them show Omar Epps, and boy, he looked like nope.
Yeah,
he might as well not even ran. Like, we're not doing this today. I'm not running after you. That was hilarious. I say they better not have him catch him. If he's moving this slow.
Yeah. Continue to talk about the serious nature of what this character is going through. And I guess the other question is, why is it important for this type of character to be here?
One of the most telling things that I felt, and this is skipping a little bit ahead for him, was his diagnosis. And the doctor constantly saying, do you have any family members? Again, I don't believe power throws out things for no reason.
Okay.
I'm almost sure we're going to find out he's related to a main character in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Okay.
And when we found out who that main character is, I want to say a name, but then I would sound like the people in the power group if I say the name that I'm thinking that they can go for. So I'm not going to say the name. I'm just going to say, I think it's going to be revealed in a couple of weeks that he's related to one of the key characters on this show.
Okay.
And that dynamic, that will create a completely different dynamic that no one would have seen coming.
Okay.
And that's something to pay a lot of attention to, because again, if it's just a regular cop and he has no connections to the main cast, I don't need to know that you're dying. What's the point? I don't need to know you have a disease. All of that would make no sense. But the point they did that, and the point they emphasized him reaching out to family, that's when we'll find out that he's related or related to multiple people.
I wouldn't mind a prediction here.
I don't want to make the prediction sound like somebody in the power group, Joe.
This comes from an educated place, so I'll take a prediction here. You can lay one down if you choose.
He's clearly related to the family in this show in some way. How that way is, I'm not 100% sure yet. I would have came close to saying Kanan. And that's what it feels that way. And no, before people think, I don't necessarily think he's Kanan's father, but Kanan's father, Kanan's father has family.
Yeah.
And I think that's the connection. And that's I got cousins. They don't fuck with me. Like, it's something of that nature. And I think it's clear because other than that, there'd be no reason to bring it up. I don't need to bring up your diagnosis. I don't need to bring up that you need to get in touch with family to be saved. That's unnecessary to bring up. But if it's not directly to Kanan, it could be, again, directly to the rest of them. To Rock, Lou, and Mel. Maybe he's their cousin. There's no telling, because he's clearly a cop who's connected to the streets. For him to be connected to the streets, because he knows a lot about the streets. And the way he talks, he still talks like a street dude. So could it be he was a street dude or the member who decided to go straight?
Yeah. Yep.
But then if you notice, he never goes out his way necessarily to stop them from doing anything.
Also, which is why the other cop name, which is why she said, like, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just like we're doing a whole bunch of just looking for something, but not actually finding anything. And it's just like, and then he put her in place and he said, like, I'm respected out here, because he is, because he got connections and whatnot. He can't really lay his hand down. So he kind of, and that's why he's also kind of probably trying to scare her too. Like, you shouldn't be here with me and all this other stuff. So I'm going to leave you to that, because I think you have something there, and I don't want to intervene in that theory, as I also am a fan of yours. So I like to hear your theories on things. So that has a lot of that has a lot of thoughts in my head going on. So I let's see how that plays out. Rock has a computer. Symphony is on that joint typing hard as day on his AOL 2.0, getting it in on. I don't know what he's looking up, but she did say something and I missed it. When she said, I'll take care of Kanan, you do what? What was she talking about? And the internet, what are they doing at this point? What are they looking up? Emails? And before anybody come for me, emails and the internet has been around for years. Do your research, okay? I'm protecting myself today, folks. I'm hostile.
Clearly,
I love y'all.
No, she
I love y'all.
The basically stick to his studies. Leave me to Kanan. You stick to your studies. That's all she was telling them.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to comment on the computer and what he was doing. And like,
my man was.
He was
getting it in.
He was going for it though.
Yes, he was.
Listen to his little music. He was getting it on that jump, man. Hey, like, I'm old, but back then we couldn't afford a computer. Yeah, so if I had to type some shit, it was on a borrowed old typewriter that bust like after every 3 keys or something.
Yeah. We had a Macintosh, but this was like probably a couple of years after this, probably like 95, I think. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Color Jones. Was that that was the time of the Color Jones?
We didn't we had like the black and white one right before the color ones came out. That's why, because the color ones came out and that set the price for these other ones down, So never had a color one until I never was on a color one until I think I got into whatever grade school grade it was then. So I have to tell you all, just in case anybody that watches us or watches this show don't realize, there was something super significant in this episode that you don't know how much it means. Now, we talked a lot about Kanan and how he would feel about his buddy D-Wiz dying. He's trying to make a rationality of it. Obviously, Jukebox doesn't know, so she's asking questions, and he wasn't honest with her about it, which is also an interesting thing as well.
Yep.
But can I tell you all, as a person born in the North, that if you got a fresh pair of forces and you write rest in peace to your man on there, this is almost like sacrificing a lamb. There's a lot of love here.
Man, that was your nigga for real.
For real.
Because you writing them Jones on a fresh pair of Air Forces. Man, Joe. When I saw it, I said, okay, yeah, that was love.
Yes, it was.
Ain't no way in hell.
Man. Just trying to tell y'all. If y'all don't know, you know now. Azumadine, who is the Connect, who basically is saying he's not getting in between all of this stuff. Why he's playing bingo, and we're going to guess that's his mom turning off her hearing aid so she can't hear the business. But, she's cool because she out here playing. She getting it in. But he is the Connect, Dean for short, because nobody got time for all that. We'll keep it on pause for right now. As again, he's not choosing sides. He's just the person they knows to come from. But it is to be known that there was something else kind of thrown here, and this is something I don't know about. And maybe you can talk me through this. When his muscle was basically saying that, what Rock was like, oh yeah, I heard you down in North Carolina doing stuff. She said, nah, I'm down South Carolina. It's on the horizon. When did this talk me through this? When did South Carolina become a spot during the early 90s? And how did that all come about? Because
all of down south was a spot in the 90s.
Look, all I know is about the North. I mean, again, I know about the North. I know about Arkansas. I know about LA during their respective times. I don't know about South Carolina.
What they call it, the Great Migration to the South.
Okay,
at one point in time, you move. If you had to move product down there, that was one of the best places to do it at. Is in North, South, Georgia, like all of that. And remember, all of that is especially between Georgia, South Carolina. Like that's all right there.
Yeah.
And it made sense for him to say, "Is we're building up. It's on the horizon. It's coming up."
Yeah, I was like, so again, from being from the North, everybody in my family still in the North would say like Maryland is country, which is 4 hours down south. They would say that's south to them. So like, that's why the geographic it threw me off. But this is like, well, damn, they went all the way. I mean, because about the stuff that happened in the DC area and whatnot, but like, which again they consider the South, but this is legitimately the South, and it's like, oh well, South Carolina's on the horizon. I'm like, I didn't know anything about this. Hey, man, and I'm wondering if
there's so many people who grew up in DC in a certain time period and were in a certain business who moved down south. They moved to the South Carolinas, the Georgias, and the North Carolinas. Not just from DC, all the way up north. That was the transition to move down towards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I understood it, but it's again, power doesn't do throwaway things.
Exactly.
So you're bringing it up for a reason. Is it because that's going to be the way they build this up even more?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Like that. Yep. That's the more interesting part, because you notice the Connect. He was cool with staying out of it until it affects business.
Yeah.
At the end of this episode, we see no one's on the corners. Business is now affected. What happens between them now? Yeah. Because at this point, he's going to get to the point where he has to pick a side.
Yeah.
And when he has to pick a side, who's he going with?
Yeah.
Because I think that at the end of this episode, we saw a huge power move by Rock. And now she's really forced to Connect's hand. Because what can he do?
Yeah.
If product ain't being moved, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And he's the Connect because he knows the Connect.
Yep.
So this ain't like Ghost with Jason or one of them where it was kind of almost a direct supply.
Mm-hmm.
This is him getting it from somebody to get it from somebody.
Yeah.
So that means he would have been getting it off a consignment, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And he's giving it to them off of it. So yeah.
Get it from Tijuana.
Mm-hmm. Everybody get it from Tijuana.
I don't know. Wow. Tijuana is like all the way down in the southwestern part of it. It's like there's a lot of other Mexico over here. Like it's a long way. This was California, I get it, but damn, like that's the furthest you could have went. Who is making that drive? How much are they making, man? Shit.
Especially when we know how much shit in this time period was being flooded through Miami. Nigga, I am not going to Tijuana. It makes no sense.
And then again, Cali's right there in this time. It's just like, what is happening right now? What is happening?
Oh man, but that's just something that I again came up with. Like, wait a minute. If business stops on a corner, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like your little, as they will always say, your little war can go on and we had no issue with it until it affects business.
Yep.
Now their little war has affected business.
Yeah.
And what's the ramifications on both of their ends for this happening?
Yep. So yeah, again, we talked about Nicole and Jukebox. We kind of had to see how all that plays out because things are looking on the up and up and promising, and we know that's not how this is going to go because we know the end of this. But again, like Juke wanted answers about Buck, and Kanan didn't tell Juke. I guess that's to be determined too. Why are you hiding it from each other? But here's the other interesting thing too. So baby Tanisha, Kanan, feeling bad for his boo-boo. She's going through some legitimate struggles. I mean, not in the struggle of poverty. I mean, I guess you can almost say that too, because they kind of say like they're in and out of houses to make ends meet and whatnot. But this was the ultimate motivation for him to get into the game. And he asks Marvin for money. Marvin looks out for him. The interesting thing about that is this puts Kanan in a position of being torn between his mom and his uncles because his mom didn't want it.
There you go.
And he said, this is between us. I also think this is another one that we just kind of throw this out there and kind of see, how this plays out. But let it be known that like while this seemed to have a happy ending, he made some money. He helped out homegirl. Everybody got their love interest. But you forgot that his mom didn't want him in this position, and Marvin did this behind her, and it's to be determined how this plays out. But yeah, this puts him in a tug of war battle between him and his uncles, all of them, both of them, excuse me, and his mom. So the three of them, and that could be something because Kanan is their highest priority right now of safety. Even though that
D-Wiz took the hit, she is still terrified that people are going to come after him.
And she should.
And she never wanted him in the business anyway.
Yes, exactly. As she should. I really, really love this scene. I really love this scene with Rock and Jukebox. That auntie niece connection, I've seen that in my family a lot. And it's just the most organic thing ever. And the way how they shared just those moments of them, like you said, we used to just hang out on the couch together. And I think people easily want to say, well, because she obviously wanted a daughter. I don't. It's not that. It's just that there's just another level of trust between aunts and their nieces for some reason, and I've just seen it so many different times. Like
it's the female relationship without the tension that comes along with being mother and daughter.
And that you're bingo. Yeah,
that's what it is. So they tend to be close, especially if it's a good family. The aunt and niece relationship is always close.
Yeah.
Where that's the person, because for the niece, that's the person I could go tell my secrets to, because I can't tell them to my mom. I need that outlet. It's the equivalent of the same thing between the uncle, because again, that's what they're playing up here. The same thing between the uncle and the nephew dynamic. That's why Kanan can go and say, Uncle Marvin, help me out here.
Yeah.
Because his mama wasn't gonna do it, and if his dad was alive, he probably wasn't gonna do it.
Only difference is that you not all the time can you trust your uncle's intentions. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Well, because in the end, your uncle still thinks like you. So
yes. But I love the fact that they say they deserve to smile, and I think that's a really good message just for everybody to take from out of that. And
it's a good message for the power universe, and one we need to pay attention to, because when that smile is taken away, which eventually has to be for Jukebox and
Revelation,
for eventually it does happen.
Yeah.
Where do they go?
Yeah.
The dark, like this is their escape. Like Jukebox's escape is music.
Yeah.
What made her put that away?
Yeah.
That's a key focus of this show.
Yeah. And also too, just to go back to Rock really quick, I love the fact that her and Symphony, they're polar opposites. That's why they attract, and it's just they made it clear, just so everybody was kind of wondering what their intentions are. They're just like, hey, Symphony loves that she's a strong woman who has a plan and has experience, and she likes him because he's totally different from anything that she's ever experienced. And I know like the word vacation was thrown out there, and that could be relative, but she explained it where she's just like, when I'm with you, I'm not working, I'm off the job.
That's a dope analogy.
Man,
I'm about to hit a couple of chicks with calling them my vacation.
Yeah,
because that's a line I need to steal.
That's my second favorite analogy of this episode. I'll end the show with my favorite one. But what the hell? Because Juke don't trust Marvin, her dad. But what the hell was he looking for in her room?
That is a good question. But remember, she kept on saying my dad's always looking for clothes and stuff. Like, is it that he knows she's doing something she ain't got no business doing?
Gotta be, and all the stuff that she hustles, she bring. That's why it's in the bag. Could be that. Could be the clothes. Could be simply the clothes.
And you see, Auntie don't ask questions.
Yeah,
Auntie just like, my house is your house. You fine.
Yeah.
But then you see Melvin's response to Kanan is, "Nigga, give me my key. Why are you just walking in my house?"
By the way, that is another very authentic thing. First of all, to get the key to a family member's house is the highest honor. Like, I'm trying to tell you, you get that, you done did some good things in life. You know, man, I felt that one. I remember the first time getting keys to the family house. You're like, yeah, I did something. But you're just not walking in and out. And God knows when we get to the era where AC is involved, where that conversation changes a lot different now. Don't be leaving that door open with that AC on there.
It's so weird to see the different reactions to it. Because Jukebox just walked in to Rock's house and she just like, "Hey, baby."
I'm trying to tell you.
And Marvin's like, "Nigga, what are you doing?"
Yep. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. So to end this episode too, you know, we saw Rock and Kanan go see D-Wiz's mom, who had all of the plastics on her couch.
Hey, this is the 90s. You better. You ain't lived through a rough life until you fell asleep on a plastic cover.
And you get glued to that bitch. You just leave a whole layer of skin.
Oh my God.
It's like it's like one of them trials from Saw. Like, if you can survive that, you have been through some things. Hey, I had PTSD looking at it. That's why I was just like, I ain't going over that. I ain't going over there no more.
If I ever see a piece of plastic covered furniture in my life again, I remember getting that shit brand new, and that shit came with the plan. You're like, did they zip it on here before you got it?
So, I still don't understand.
Hey, we as black people, we like to save stuff. Like,
there's some in the storage right now.
Yeah, don't you
bet my life on it.
Don't you waste no shit on my sofa. Instead of saying that, they covered that motherfucker with plastic.
Yep. Hey man, like I had a whole PTSD moment there. I was like when you because when you have family in the high rises and the projects, and you know they got the plastic out, but when that yellow glare of the sun coming through and it's dim like that, man, something powerful about to go down. When Kanan started crying, I was like, man, I've been there too, man. I was like, man, shit real, dog.
We just got to talk about how cold Rock is, though. She killed this boy, and up here giving his mother Bible scriptures. She's a whole different type of G, Joe. And got the nerve to console her son who's crying because it's his friend. Jesus.
I'm glad you said it. I ain't got to say it. I'm still the trauma from that scene, but yeah.
She a whole G for that one right there.
Yeah.
That's damn near worse than Tupac and Juice.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So to end this episode off, my favorite analogy is when he compared boxing to questions and answers. Never ever looked at it in this way ever. And he said punches are like questions, and the person at the end with their hand raised have all the answers. That is a super intellectual way of looking at boxing. And it just, I still need time to kind of metabolize it, but I was like, essentially, that's right. That's right. So, but yeah, this was a really good episode. For anybody saying that Power Book 3 is boring, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. By now, by 3 episodes in, if you aren't completely convinced,
if you're expecting this to be the Tariq runs the campus and runs everywhere humanly possible, and you're expecting this action-packed show, it was never supposed to be that.
Yeah.
Like, nah, this is closer in tone. It's closer to the earlier seasons in Power.
Yeah.
Where you got a lot of building of everything up and things of that nature. Keep in mind, this is the first prequel. Being the first prequel, you have to explain a lot of things.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with having to do that, and that doesn't make this boring to me. This is bringing me back to like the 90s gangster movies that I used to see. And not just black gangster movies. You may get the Goodfellas or Casinos or stuff like that, where it just shows you building the empire up and the consequences you have to deal with, like a Sugar Hill. And why people didn't like Sugar Hill as much as New Jack, because New Jack had a lot more action in it. But Sugar Hill was closer to being, its realism was better. Yeah. That's how I see this one compared to other shows that may be in this vein that have more action in it. Or if anybody watched any early seasons of Snowfall, exactly. It's countless episodes where little to no action happened, but you're building the characters up. Yeah. And we may know of Kanan as an older person, but we don't know this Kanan at all. Yeah. So you got to get from point A to point B, and to get there ain't going to be a fast pace. We just going to do multiple shootouts, not meaning that we're not going to get there, because clearly from the previews for the next episode with my man Joey Badass saying what he said, like, we know something's about to go down. But again, I still don't expect it to be a big action setup, and nor does it need to be. Exactly.
Well said. I'm making a quick prediction. Next week, the football reference will be Reggie White. Hold me to it.
Wait. 80s. We already got one with LT as a reference.
Last week was who did Rock say? Hit a Reggie. I would say Reggie Jackson. Did she say Reggie Jackson or Bo Jackson?
She said it would make more sense for them to say Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, it was Reggie. Yeah, because football, right? Okay, right. I mean, no. Both sports, but
no, because Reggie was big in New York.
Okay,
in baseball. So and LT is big in New York. So maybe it's not a football reference. Okay, it's a New York
good one.
Sports reference.
Good one. Yeah, bro, Reggie White.
I mean, if a nigga say Phil Simms, we know then for sure it's New York sports reference. Or let them go to Buffalo or something of that nature. Yeah. Somebody say something about Thurman Thomas.
Yep, bingo. Okay. Yep. All right, folks. Well, that'll do it for this week. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you thought about tonight's episode. Let me know everything I did wrong, because I love it and I love you all. And as always, we'll be back right on time so that review next week drops immediately after the episode. And we'll see you over there. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week.